Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Listen, we are at the tail end of season 18. There's been a bunch of changes to rank. Is hidden MMR better than the traditional ranked? We're going to talk about it. Let's get into a discussion, especially in the comments. I'm going to give all my opinions, all the changes from last season and this season, and my general opinion on this season. And hopefully season 19 turns out better for everybody. If you do like this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to help out your local volunteer fireman, especially your favorite one. And if you just choose to support me even further, you could join up, become a member, get exclusive items like badges and emotes. All right, let's get into the changes. Number one, from season 17 to season 18. Okay, so the first one is when you queue into a lobby, especially as a solo queue and you have two other randoms with you, in season 17, you were able to see the other players' peak rank, right? So whatever they ended up, at the end of the season, whether it's Diamond, Masters, you were able to see that. And if they were only able to hit Diamond 2, it also showed you that also. Season 18, for whatever reason, they decided to get rid of that. I thought that was something nice to know. In my opinion, as a solo queue, it would kind of change my approach to that team. So if I was Diamond 2, let's say at that moment, and the other guys were just D4s, like, you know what, let me just take it a little bit easy, as opposed to D1s, maybe I'll be a little more aggressive in the lobby. It all depends how I decided to play that game out. But they decided to get rid of it for whatever reason. I thought that was pretty nice, but it is what it is. The next one, so if you were fully eliminated from the game and you were spectating your teammates, you actually cannot even see the current rank of that teammate. It was just blank. It almost looked like you were playing pubs and you're just waiting to get respawned or waiting for the next game. They stopped showing that also. Matter of fact, the only way to see somebody's previous rank from the last season was to go into the lobby, and if you were able to invite them to your lobby, you would inspect them. So for me on mouse and key, it was right click, on controller, it's whatever the inspect button is, and it'll show you what the rank is, but you only can see it from the lobby, or unless they told you and they wasn't lying about it. The only soundful argument I think of them changing this and making it all completely hidden, it's not because we're now in hidden MMR, which of course we're going to get into, is probably because you can't rat to masters anymore. Well, I wouldn't say anymore, but it's definitely a little bit more difficult to rat to masters because, as you all know from last year, there was over 1 million masters players, most of them ratting or just getting it incredibly easy, which was not good for the game. So they probably just made it hidden so somebody can't just bully somebody in game, I guess. That's my best guess, to be honest. Another obvious change is that this season is clearly a lot harder to get the masters or your desired rank than last season. You definitely have to earn it just a little bit more. Could you rat? Yeah, if you really want to waste that much time, or you could just earn it, it's probably quicker. And the number one important change is that your display rank literally means nothing with this hidden MMR implemented. And I'm going to get into why I'm saying it means nothing, because it kind of does, not really. So let's get into the current issues between hidden MMR versus traditional rank. So the hidden MMR basically supersedes your traditional rank. We don't know what hidden MMR is. We don't know how it's broken up. We don't know the buckets. We just know that the higher you are, the harder players you will go against. So basically hidden MMR determines the difficulty of the lobby, not necessarily the skill of your teammates. If it did, people probably wouldn't complain as much, but let me tell you, it doesn't mean anything. Oh, because your hidden MMR supersedes your traditional rank, truly, as a silver, you could be placing against masters and preds quite often, which, trust me, it did happen. If you guys watch the streams, my streams on this channel, it happened all the time. So they introduced provisional rounds last season in season 17. You get 10 rounds of provisionals. Basically, it's your placement games. If you do well and really good enough, you'll be placed in higher ranks immediately. If you troll around and you don't win any games, you'll be placed in a lower rank. So for 2 seasons in a row, I managed to place in silver and worked my way back up to masters twice. Season 17, obviously a lot easier. And in this season, I did get it again. However, because of the new hidden MMR system, my road to masters was way harder than a traditional silver would probably get. Traditionally, silver players would have a lower hidden MMR, right? So if they was to suddenly just become really good, their road to masters would be a lot easier. Now, of course, if they're generally silver or genuinely silver, well, they're probably going to stay in silver and maybe get the gold, as opposed to myself, who's generally in the higher echelon of players. For many seasons, I always placed in diamond. And for the past couple seasons, I've been getting, either D1 or actually hitting masters, depending how much I ended up solo queuing that season. I'm typically in the higher echelon of players fighting against multi-stack masters, preds, and pros quite often. So even though I was in silver and placed in silver, you would think, you know what, I'll just fly through the lower ranks, silver, gold, plat, diamond, right? And then once diamond starts rolling around, then the real difficulty gets around, you know? Then I really got to start playing smart, making sure I'm playing how I should be playing, right? As a Masters player. But that's not the case. In silver, based off provisional, right? Placed in silver, I think it was like silver 2. I was still queuing against and fighting players that are professionals, multi-preds, multi-masters. I mean, we're talking about like really good players. They're way better than me, right? And I'm still in silver. So I'm fighting these guys all the way up to masters. That road is a lot harder compared to somebody who's silver and just suddenly just started playing very smart, but maybe very positional, right? Who can actually climb the ranks a lot faster. Generally because their hidden MMR, well, it was a lot lower than mine. Now I'm sure somebody in the comment section will say, oh, it's a cope, it's try harder, what, like it doesn't make sense. Like I'm sure somebody's gonna argument in the comments of what I'm saying. But if you don't sit in this seat, I guess you truly won't understand. Because even if we were to go back on like traditional scale, right? On the traditional rank, if I placed in silver, well, I mean, I'm gonna fly right through silver anyway. I'm not gonna sit here and farm silver lobbies all day. I can't, because I'm gonna gain too many points to get to the appropriate rank that I normally would be at. So the argument is, well, you're just gonna farm silvers all day? Is that all you really wanna do? No, that's not what I wanna do. That's the purpose of pubs, is to farm the, you know, the weaker players all day. No, in ranked, at the appropriate rank, I expect to be fighting the appropriate player. That's the other problem with hidden MMR, is because you don't know who you're really fighting against. It feels like I'm fighting pros all the time, and I basically am, because if you, I mean, there's only so many times you can run into a pro team. You can tell right away, night and day, you're fighting a pro team where just a very seasoned squad, just players who just mesh well together, and they could just fry in any lobby. It doesn't matter. Also, what didn't make much sense is that even though like later in the season and I was in diamond and climbing up the diamond ladder, I was still in many lobbies, especially solo queue, still getting ranked silvers and ranked golds. And I didn't understand that. So that whole balance, or I wouldn't say balance, but that whole like block where a silver player cannot queue up with a diamond plus, that basically didn't exist, right? I would still queue with these lower ranked players, basically because we were in the same hidden MMR, but he still wasn't performing up to par with what I needed. So it only made the lobby way more harder than it needed to be based on the hidden MMR, you know, cranking up the difficulty for that lobby. And then I had to carry this other guy. I'm not that good to be carrying other people. I only play a couple hours a week, maybe like 20 hours a week, which is a lot more than many other players. But I'm not playing as much time, or I'm not putting as much time as these pros who are playing 8 to 12 hours a day, or these pred player level players are playing 8 to 12 hours a day because they have to maintain pred, because, you know, people are gaining 1,000+ points a day. I'm not there. I probably won't be there because I have a job in fire department and I have a lot of other responsibilities to keep me from sitting at this computer 12 hours a day. In my personal opinion, the hidden MMR scopes, buckets, however they want to cut it up, it's a little bit too broad. So the high end is way too big and the low end is too small. And it's going to be, it'll take very little to adjust into the higher end lobby where you're fighting pros, preds, and all the people I've been complaining about. Overall, it does make solo queue a lot more difficult. And I'm not saying that's the only thing I do. Of course, I do stack. Majority of the time, I only do a queue, but sometimes I have a stack. Regardless, I don't want to have to sit and wait for 2 other people to get online to then play ranked. I want to be able to play ranked when I want to play ranked. And the devs should make it so that we're all in the same field. We're all within the same realm, so that it's the most balanced lobby. Not, I'm going against TSM, LG, Dojo, you know, basically everybody that was in match point and ALGS this past season, right? And then there's me, the guy with a full-time job, fire department. I had 2 actual jobs up until a few months ago, and I can only play 10 to 20 hours a week. I'm not going to be shooting like them. That's just how it is. So we're going to go over some pros and eventually my opinion. So the pros from this season is that, well, especially compared to last season, is that The lobbies in these end games are way more stacked, and it's good. This is what a lot of people liked in season 13. The lobbies were stacked. It felt like you were either scrimming or you were actually playing in a tournament in regular ranked, which is why a lot of people say that season 13 was the hardest and probably the most respected season because it was so difficult. You really had to know how to play those end games in order to get good points and get the dub. This season felt like it was heading in that direction, and I think it does need a little bit more tuning to get to that. So it's definitely getting in the right direction, but it's not there yet. A little more tuning. People in this season think way more about position and rotations instead of just aping the lobbies. Of course, there's going to be those random trios or whatever they're just going to ape everybody. If they're not a pred or a pro, like they're just really good, right? Or they're in flow state or something. They're going to be mowing down the lobby until they get kicked out of the lobby by getting eliminated. They're just going to mow as many people as they can, or if they make a mistake and they get third party. Then, as you could tell from last season, there was over 1 million Masters players, which is what a lot of people have complained about. And opposed to this season, the distribution is a lot more balanced. This is the distribution it should look like. A ranked distribution should look a lot similar to a bell curve. There should only be so many Masters players. There should only be so many Diamond players. Masters, considering is the highest rank other than Predator, should be very difficult to obtain. It should not be that easy like it was that season. And as annoying as it was to go against 3-stack Preds and Pros and really good Master squads, I think I did get better overall from it. Now, normally I was never truly afraid to go against a Pro stack. I'd fight them all the time in previous seasons. I had no problem with that. But because I was going against them so often this season, it really felt like I don't know. Maybe I should try out for ALGS. Right. Either way, I felt like I did get a little bit better. I'm definitely more cautious about position and end games and be able to recognize good positioning if I need a better spot, what I'm willing to fight, take advantage of certain opportunities, slide into certain third parties. Sometimes you probably shouldn't take a certain third party. Maybe you should just rotate instead. They also made the zone changes so that the zone hits a little bit harder sooner. You definitely want to take rotational plays a lot faster than you normally would. Like I had said before, I think the hidden MMR is somewhat putting us on a right direction. However, it shouldn't be hidden. It needs to be public. If you want to make it hybrid, I think that we should make it hybrid. I don't want to completely ditch the traditional rank system or the rank badges. You know, Masters, everybody loves that Masters badge, or even the Diamond. You know, if whatever you got traditionally, aside from season 12 and season 17, you're generally proud of. Like, that's the rank you earned. And if you hit a higher rank that you normally didn't, well, you felt really good about yourself that season, right? So they should probably now make it a bit of a hybrid. So if you got Masters or you got Diamond, somewhere in the detail of your legend or your character or something, it displayed your hidden MMR, whatever it was. And they should make how they rate that hidden MMR, they should make that public, right? So if they do it by just like simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, 5 being the hardest, well, you know what? Masters hidden MMR 5. Masters hidden MMR 4. I don't think you should be Masters with a hidden MMR of 1. That probably shouldn't happen, but if it does, well, that should be public, because then you can really gauge that skill of player when you're queuing with them, and you then have to fight against all these level 5s in this lobby. All right, guys, so those are my general opinions about how this season went. Like I said before, it's heading in the right direction. I think it just needs a little bit more fine tuning, some quality of life changes. If you guys agree, drop a comment down below. Don't be afraid to discuss down below either. I'll be in the comments like I normally am. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to support your favorite volunteer fireman. I really do appreciate it. And I'll be streaming on this channel all the time, so make sure you do sub up so you can catch those notifications. You guys have a good rest of one, and I'll see you guys later.